John Reese, the captains for Manchester. Reese wears number 82. And for Lacey, Jeff Sturman was out, the other captain.
The referee's blocking off you right now.
All right, why don't you mention the officiating crew?
Ray, you got the officials?
I have him, Ken. The referee is Jim Johnson. The umpire is Frank Federico. Linesman is Rich Massey. Line judge, George Ross. And the clock operator today is Al Detweiler.
Bob Malika was the other co-captain for the Lacey Lions. And I didn't tell you this. I should have told you at the end of the pregame show that our pregame report was brought your way by Video Movies and Games on Bachelor Avenue, 679 Bachelor Avenue in Toms River. And I'll tell you that the broadcast of today's game is coming your way by Pine Belt Chevrolet, Route 88 in Lakewood, the largest selection of Chevrolets in the shore area. By Ocean County College, your community college in Toms River, and by the Lincoln Mercury dealers of Ocean and Monmouth County. Kicking off for the Manchester Hawks will be Ed Kearns, number 12. And we have a problem, folks. Bear with us. We don't have any kind of a place to put anything in the press box. No tables, no counter, nothing. And we're going to be fumbling around a little bit.
In addition, the Manchester roster has some problems, and it's not in any kind of order.
Yeah, we mentioned that. We mentioned that at Central, that this is the only school that does not put out a roster in numerical order. So if we're a little slow finding players for you, we have to hunt for them. That kickoff goes to the 10. It's fumbled. And it's going to be a good return by Lacey. Looked like it might be a disaster there, and instead it's returned to midfield by Mike Murphy, Jr., 5'11", 168, and Lacey's in excellent field position. Let me run down the lineups. Alan Zierlsdorf will be the quarterback today with Luciano out with an injury, number 19. Halfback will be number 23, Dave Van Brunt. Fullback, Bob Malika, number 20. Rocco Sinatra, number 21, will be the wingback. And the tight end was the man who returned to kickoff, Mike Murphy, number 41. Here's a penalty. Did you see who the penalty, Bob?
It was an illegal block, Ken. I didn't see who it was on, but there was a block below the waist, I think it was, and it's going to nullify about a 30-yard return.
Dave Supsey, number 80, is the split end. He's one of the top receivers in the shore area for Lacey. Scott Schubiger will be the center, number 54, 6'1", 190, a junior. The guards, Dave's brother, Chris Supsey, sophomore, will be the right guard, 5'9", 160. He wears 63. The left guard, Ed Corrivo, number 61, 5'10", 160, a junior. The right tackle, Steve Torrey, number 76, 5'10", 230, a junior. And the left tackle, Mike Berardo, 6', 190, a junior, number 75. That's the offensive line for the Lions. First and 10 for Lacey as they operate from the 15, about a 3-4 yard gain on the first play from scrimmage. The carry by Murphy. So already we have we were listing, I want to check something here. All right, we do have Murphy at tight end. Okay, we have a wing to the right. First start for the quarterback this year, Zielsdorf. And they go to number 37 on the carry, Dan Bruno. So right now, it's 3rd down and 8 for the Lions. Defensively, Dan Brennan, the left end for the Hawks, number 57. Steve Bauman, 73, is the left tackle. John Reese, 82, the right tackle. Jerry Schemmel is the right end, number 62. Jim Hawk made that stop for Manchester. He is the linebacker on the left side, number 34. Bob Joya, the blue chipper on the Manchester team, 52, the middle linebacker. Don Pierce, 53, the right linebacker. 3rd and 8. Wing back in motion, right up the middle. And it's short of a first down. Tackle made at the 20-yard line.
Okay, what we had was a little inside counterplay coming back, hoping to catch the Hawks rotating too fastly. And what we had happen is just picked up about 5 yards, but not enough for the first down.
Mike Murphy will punt for Lacey. Phil Patrico, number 21, is the single safety. And Murphy did a good job of getting that away on the run as he avoided the rush to his right. And Manchester starts off first play from scrimmage with excellent field position at the Lacey 40-yard line.
All right, the snap was very high coming back into Murphy. He leaped up in the air and made a great catch with it, managed to get the kick off. Well, Lacey would have been in trouble. The ball would have been back down inside their 5-yard line.
Tony Lubisher gets the start at quarterback, number 13. He's a sophomore with Danny Braun out. Phil Patrico, number 21. Jim Hawk, 34. John Arvanitis, 27. The full house backfield running backs. But right now they're going to line up with a wing back to the left side. I'll give you the offensive line after this play. Fumble, and the quarterback picked it up and managed to fall forward. Let me give you the offensive line. Chuck Phillips is a center, number 61, 5'9", 160, a junior. Bob Joya, the right guard, number 52, 5'10", 190, a senior. Jerry Schemmel, number 62, the left guard, 5'10", 165. He is a junior. Danny Brennan at right tackle, 5'10", 200, a senior, number 57. And Don Pierce is a left tackle, number 53, 5'9", 170. He's a senior. Joe Romans is a tight end, number 10. Here's a big hole. There's a flag thrown on a play. And the ball carrier was Jimmy Hawk. Stop made by Lacey's Dave Supsey. And Dick, did you see what the penalty could have been?
I'm not sure. I think it was blocking below the waist or clipping.
Well, I think it is an illegal crackback against Manchester. What Manchester did is sent the strength to the left sideline that time, and Lacey rotated its defense to compensate. Manchester came back against the rotation to the weak side for a good gain, but they had an illegal crackback, and it's going to nullify a big gain and put him in a long yardage situation.
That would have been a first down. Let me give you the rest of the lineup here. Tony Merrill is the split end for Manchester. He wears 83, 5'11", 150, a sophomore. I told you Romans was a tight end. He's a big one, 6'4", 230, a senior. Front five for Lacey on defense. Strong side end. Bob will explain, or Dick will explain what they're doing with their defense. Scott Schubiger, number 54, goes both ways, 6', 190, a junior. Mike Berardo is the left tackle, 6', 190, a junior, number 75. Mike Eden, the nose guard, 5'10", 180, a junior, number 33. Steve Torrey, the right tackle, number 76, 5'10", 230, a junior. Bob Malika, 5'10", 170, a senior, number 20, is the weak side end. Give you the linebackers and secondary in a moment. Well, here goes the sophomore, Lubisher, on the quarterback keeper, finally knocked out of bounds in front of the Manchester bench. And making the stop was number 33 for the Lacey Lions, Mike Eden, the nose guard. The linebackers for Lacey, Jeff Sturman, number 24, 5'10", 188, a senior. On the strong side, Derek Torrey is the weak side backer, number 53, 5'10", 185, a senior. The defensive backs, Dave Supsey, number 80, 5'11", 170, a senior, and Dave Van Brunt, 5'11", 160, a junior, number 23. The safeties, Rocco Sinatra, 5'9", 165, a junior at Rover. He's number 21, and Mike Murphy, the regular safety, 5'11", 168. He's a junior, number 41. That's the whole lineup for today's game. This is Patrico, and he's stopped by Jeff Sturman.
All right, on the previous play, Tony Lubisher, the quarterback, dropped back to pass Ken. Everybody was covered, and boy, he showed for a sophomore. Nice poise. He ran very well and ran very hard. Excellent run.
Dropping back for the Lions in double safety, Mike Murphy to the far side, and to the near side, sophomore Rich Deemer. Deemer wears number 40. So we got 40 and 41, the two deep backs, to receive this kick.
Should be a good kick, Ken. They've had a little bit of wind at the back.
Now, is that Kearns wearing number 11? Did we get a number change on him?
No, we didn't get any number change, Ken.
I was given number 12. The punter's supposed to be Kearns.
I believe it was Dan Braun who kicked the ball, number 11, but I'm not sure. Falling on the fumble or the punt on the 1 yard line was Dan Horrigan.
Can we verify that?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Dan Braun, because before the game he was mentioning that Braun was in number 11 and gestured towards him.
All right, that's what we have on the roster. Number 11 is Braun.
Yeah, he's also playing split end today. He's also on the offensive team, so I'm sure it was Danny.
We're early in the first quarter here at Manchester High School. Fumble, quarterback falls on it. And that's a dangerous spot there. They can't mess around with the football down there.
And Zielsdorf, that's the problem you have when you're bringing a new quarterback, Ken. Down there on the 1-yard line, he's just a little bit nervous, and the ball popped out. Lacey can't afford a mistake down there.
Gentlemen, I forgot when we came here last year. I should have called and made a request. We had the band right under our nose here, and it's very difficult for us to talk with them playing. The window is open here. There's no window in the press box. So we're being drowned out by the band. Of all the places in the bleachers, I don't understand why they sit right here under our window. All right, that's number 47 on the carry for the Lions, and I'm getting all kinds of numbers in here I wasn't given before the game. Mike Spatz was supposed to be out with an injury today, but apparently he made a good recovery this week. 6 foot 205, and Mike is just a sophomore. He played varsity as a freshman last year.
All right,
he is a stud.
Ken, the tackle in there was made by Phil Patrico of Manchester, and he's playing in one hell of a ball game right now.
A very dangerous call, pitching the ball around on your own 1-yard line here. Versillo showing a lot of confidence. That's probably why Spatz was in here, just for that play.
3rd and 8. And again, Spatz, and he has a first down for Lacey as he takes the ball out across the 10-yard line. So it's 1st and 10 Lions at the 11. Watch it again.
All right, you got a replay here coming up, and if you look, you'll notice it's just a quick handoff in there. Spatz breaks through, gets some good running, gets himself the first down.
5 minutes and 8 seconds to play first quarter, no score. Game of the week here on Clear Television, Cable Channel 8. Manchester in blue, Lacey in white. Off the right side.
Little counterplay that we saw earlier in Lacey's first series. Picks up, looks like about 5 yards.
Dave Van Brunt, the senior running back, on the carry for the Lions. Gain of 4, 2nd and 6 for Lacey.
One of the captains, John Reese, was in on that tackle also, number 82.
Wing back in motion. A hand of the wing back, cuts it inside, avoided one tackle. Carry made by Bob Malika, a 5'10", 170-pound senior.
Don Priest, Pierce that time, Ken, stuck out one hand and was able to get a hold of his ankle and trip him up. Excellent play.
Very nice play. He was taken out cleanly on a block, but he reached up through second effort to make the tackle.
3rd and 4. And I see Randy Parks is in there. We were not given Randy. He started a Central game, but he's in there now. 5'9", 150, a junior at the right corner for the Manchester Hawks. Flag is thrown. Just as the wingback started in motion.
We're going to see 5 yards here against Lacey. Haven't seen a signal
And
yet.
I think that was delay of the game. One of the officials started signaling to the other official, and he was giving the delay of game sign because they've been taking an awful long time getting their plays off.
We met the Manchester coaches on the pregame show, but in a moment I'll ask Dick to run down those names again after this next play. This is a 3rd and 9. Zielsdorf throwing low, man open, Supsey. Supsey has it across midfield of the 45 of the Hawks. And a tackle was made by number 13, Tony Lubisher, the sophomore defensive back. First down, Lions. Watch it again.
33-yard gain, Ken. You can see the play is made by the great play-action fake by Zielsdorf. As he comes back, he sets up nicely, delivers the ball. He's way out there. The receiver's wide out in the open air. Great completion, 33 yards.
So the junior, Alan Zielsdorf, 5'10", 160, shows you he's got a strong arm on that play. And Supsey, his #1 receiver. He's been the #1 receiver all season for Lacey. They go straight up the middle. And maybe a 2-yard gain on the play. Tackle was made by John Reese, number 82. And it's a gain of 1, 2nd and 9.
All right, the coaching staff for the Manchester Hawks. Tom Faulkner is the head coach. Bob Pierce, Mike Boyd, Richard DeMarco, Joe Cavallero, and Alton Johnson.
Of course, Mike Boyd, his dad, a longtime coach at Central Regional. Joe Boyd, the field's named after him at Central. And Mike Boyd played on an undefeated team at Central, #1 in the state. Jerry Schemmel on a stop that time from the end position. So Lacey held in check here pretty much on the first 2 plays after that long pass completion of Supsey. And it's going to bring up 3rd and 9 for the Lions as they shuffle 2 players in on every play, one of them bringing a play in as they're alternating Malika and Sinatra at the wingback position with the plays from Coach Lou Versillo. Ball's at the Manchester 44-yard line. 2 minutes and 15 seconds to play in the opening period. Good block there. And in, picked off by Lubisher. And he laterals it. And getting a little wild down there. Right back at the 10-yard line.
You can see why Manchester wanted very much to get Lubisher into this game. He's a heart and soul football player that comes out of a family that football and winning are a tradition with, and it just helps breathe fire into this Manchester team.
The Lubisher family, big up in the Long Branch area, Long Branch, Shore Regional, Neptune, and we were told that this is one of the relatives of that Monmouth County family.
Now here's the play again. There's the long pass. Now watch this. Catch is made over the shoulder running away. He puts his hand on the ground, good balance. He laterals it back to Jim Hawk, and Jim Hawk probably gets about 3 more yards.
He was trying to go to number 41, Murphy. We have a timeout with 1 minute and 44 seconds to go. So we'll take a timeout and come right back.
The game, Coach Versillo was saying he felt he had a great coaching staff this year, and he had George Peterson, his assistant coach Jim Brown, John Kilmurray, you all know that name, Ed Heffernan, Michael Emanuel, and Rich Stratton. Versillo couldn't help but sing enough praises about how hard these gentlemen work with his young kids.
Well, we know that George Peterson's better known as Chip Peterson. He was a lineman at Central Regional. He coached under Joe Boyd. He coached under John Gardy at Central. And he came down to Lacey when he opened the program there. And he's done a really great job. And Lou was telling us Mike Emanuel was an All-American at Kentucky, played linebacker. He was an All-American in high school at Neshaminy in Pennsylvania in the Langhorne area, which has always been noted as a football power in Pennsylvania. And he says that he is a tough football coach. And of course, John Kilmurray, his freshman win big this morning, 38-7. And he's also got Rich Stratton, who played at Central Regional when Chip Peterson was coaching there. And Ed Heffernan was a familiar name, Bob, at Toms River South.
Well, I want to mention also, Ken, that their JV team is also unbeaten at Lacey Township.
All right, here's Manchester now. 1st and 10 at the 10-yard line after that pass interception by sophomore Lubisher. Patrico can't get out of his backfield. The Lions shut that one down completely. Rocco Sinatra, the rover back. Now explain, Bob, is this something Lou picked up from you at Red Bank, this rover defense and the strong end weekend?
I'd like to say yes, but I really can't, Ken. The rover concept came around in many places at once, colleges, the pros and all, and basically you can put that rover to the strength of the formation, to the width of the field. You play a guessing game with him and use him as a chess piece and put him where you think the ball's going to be. That time Priscilla guessed right.
All right, it's 2nd and 11. And again, the Lions shut it down. That time it was Bob Mulligan, number 20, and also in there was Derek Torrey, the weak side linebacker, number 53. We have 2 Torrey brothers. We have Steve Torrey at right tackle, number 76, a junior, and his older brother, a senior, made that stop there. Derek Torrey, the weak side linebacker. We've got the Supsey brothers. Dave Supsey, the split end, made that great catch, goes both ways, and then his younger brother plays on the offensive line. 3rd down and 12.
Dan Braun is the punter.
On a 3rd down, they're punting. Look at this kick.
Murphy takes it at the 41, and he wasn't tackled. What happened there?
His knee touched the ground, Ken.
As he was catching it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't believe I thought they were going to say he called for a fair catch, but I didn't see his arm go up in the air.
Ken, we got a break in the action here. Maybe I can get a run down some of last night's scores.
I think we're going to have to wait until we get a timeout, Bob. We got a lot of scores to cover, so we'll wait.
I think that was a good call by Tom Faulkner. That prevented the Lacey Lions from rushing the punter because they didn't know whether he was going to pass or kick.
Malik into the far side. Subsea split to the near side. Slot formation. Quick count. Straight ahead, Van Brunt, the ball carrier. No, it's not either. It's number 47, Mike Spatz. And we have a timeout here. That was a gain of 4, 2nd and 6. Now, Bob, I think we can go to the, oh, is that the end of the quarter? We can't see the clock unless we lean out of the window. That is the end of the quarter with no score between Lacey and Manchester. Bob Strange, Dick Patton, and I will be back with the second quarter of play in just a moment. The second quarter of play with Lacey in possession of the football, 2nd and 6. I will call it 7 from the Manchester 37-yard line.
Lacey in a passing formation right away.
There's Subsea. He's open, first down. Subsea trying to get more, and he's finally down. But a beautiful effort by Subsea after he caught the football, and he takes it down to the 22-yard line. First down, Lions.
All right, Ken,
He was finally brought down by Dan Brennan, number 57 of the Hawks, after a fine run.
Subsea picked up about 15 yards on that play, about 7 or 8 of it on some nice running on his own.
I knew the Subsea's father, Bill Subsea. He was a good athlete at Toms River High School. And they go to number 23 off the left side, Dave Van Brunt. And on the stop, looks like 57, Danny Brennan in there.
If you run this Delaware wing T offense that Versillo runs, you have to run that count of 6 or 8 times a game to keep the defense from overloading your wing side.
2nd and 9. Now, what's the difference between Lacey's wing T and Brick Township's wing T?
Well, Brick Township is a Warren Wolf wing T. He started here. They probably had the same birthplace, but Lou runs it the traditional Delaware way. Warren has added some of Warren Wolf's own identity to it.
All right, the ball carrier, Jeff Sturman, a 5'10", 188 senior, his first carry of the ball game. 3rd and 6 for the Lions. And Lacey threatening to get on a scoreboard here early in the second quarter.
Tackle again made in there by Jim Hawk. He's been all over the place today, offensively and defensively.
We started out with the sun out, but it's gotten overcast right now. We're a very warm day. Well, his quarterback was trying to go to Murphy, the tight end, and we have a flag after the play.
And a flag is going to be against Manchester on what would have been a 4th down situation. It's going to give Lacey a 1st down because I think it's going to be a personal foul.
Zielsdorf, I think, was the player that took the personal foul.
Manchester
looked like he was decked.
Yes, he was. The Manchester coaching staff is fuming over there because in a 4th down situation now, it's going to give Lacey a 1st down, probably inside the 15-yard line.
I believe the penalty was called on number 75, and he's the one Manchester ball player now sitting on the bench all by himself.
He was pulled out of the game in a hurry.
Well, if you missed our game last night, folks, I mean, if you didn't see it on Saturday evening, you missed a good game. I hope you'll tune in on Tuesday evening at 8 o'clock because we had one of the better games of the year last night. Toms River North Mariners got their first victory for Coach Jerry Clary as they upset Southern Regional 14-10. That was a great game. Bob's going to give you the other scores from Friday night's action when we get a chance here. All right, Van Brunt around the left side.
Dropped the ball.
And he lost the football. Manchester has it. And on the football for Manchester. And again, I'm going to tell you, you're going to have to wait while we find it. Randy Parks, number 43. Our rosters are just about useless to us because they're not in numerical order.
Van Brunt got down in there and looked like he might score. He got hit and he spun out. As he spun out, the Manchester player grabs for his arm.
There you see Parks, who picked up the football. He is a defensive cornerback. He's a junior.
Excellent defensive play there by John Organitis and Randy Parks.
Now Manchester on offense, working at their 5-yard line. That's number 21, Patrico, on a carry.
You know, Ken, we saw Lacey in a 9-play drive come up short because of an interception. Now they take the ball down to the 5-yard line and turn it over on a fumble. This is the kind of problem that plagued Lacey when they had Freehold Borough. They can't afford to do this because Manchester's got some good people on their ball club.
I see the cheerleaders finally showed up. I don't know where these girls hide before games, but we're having a heck of a time. We started introducing the cheerleaders earlier in the season for each school, and we didn't see Manchester girls around anywhere, so unfortunately we won't get them on television this year as far as the introductions go. Coming around the left side, and that was number 27. Derek Torrey made the stop, but the ball carrier was John Arvanitis, the junior. They have 2 juniors and a senior in that full house backfield. Patrico and Hawk are Patrico's the senior, Hawk and Arvanitis are the juniors. And of course, the quarterback's just a sophomore, Lubisher.
Steve Torrey almost had him for the safety in the end zone, but wasn't quite quick enough.
3rd and 7, and they're going to punt again on 3rd down, Bob.
But the advantage to calling that 3rd down punt, Ken, is if there is a problem, you got another down to come back and still kick the ball out of there. You don't have to force yourself in that 4th down situation.
Dick, did you ever punt on third down when you were coaching?
Yes, one time when I was on Long Island, when you get deep in your hole like that, and the chance that they might block your punt, they can come after the punter. But on 3rd down, like Danny Braun is a passer. Now they don't know whether he's going to pass or he's going to punt the ball, so they have to stay back. He may take his time punting, so by giving the extra time, he could be a slow kicker, and this way he gets more time to kick the football.
Bob, let's run down those scores now.
All right, getting back to last night's action. Matawan was a big winner over Brick Memorial, 36-7. Wall Township 28, Neptune 6. That was Wall's 28th straight win. Middletown North 31, Freehold Township nothing. Asbury Park 34, Point Borough 14. Manalapan 14, Toms River East nothing. Ocean Township 21, Manasquan nothing. And Admiral Farragut 14, Point Beach 12.
And 2 weeks from now, we'll be doing the Admiral Farragut homecoming game with Boundbrook on Channel 8. We'll get a look at the middies of Stan Slaby, Dave Avino, Bob's oldest buddy when he was assistant coach to Bob at Red Bank, down at Admiral Farragut now, coaching under Slaby, running that defense. Now that's going to take a Manchester roll, and then it's finally down, and number 25 down the ball, and I'll tell you in about 10 minutes who the player is when I try to find him on my roster. That's Danny Horrigan, number 25. I'll tell you, it's a broadcaster's nightmare, a roster that's not in numerical order. And luckily, all the other schools have them in numerical order for us.
The thing about that, Ken, is it really hurts the kids because we can't credit them with the tackles and the plays and the blocks quick enough.
I don't understand why they've put a roster together it's not in numerical order. I just don't understand it. Here's the quarterback. And he throws to Malika, and a little bit too wide. Malika tried to come back for it. So Zielsdorf off the mark on that one. It's going to bring up 2nd and 10. The Lions have the football in pretty darn good field position. They're operating at the Hawk 44-yard line.
There was an excellent call, Ken, but what you have, that's a timing pass that takes a lot of practice. Very difficult for a new quarterback to come in and complete that. The ball has to be thrown before the receiver makes his break, and the timing just a little bit off there.
I said 44. It's the 34-yard line. 8 minutes and 10 seconds left to go in the first half. Still no score in the ball game. Fullback gets the call. Look at Stats. I should say Spats, Mike Spats. He is a well-built kid, and he's only a sophomore. He's got a good future at Lacey.
And a tackle was made by Don Pierce, number 53. He and Jim Hawk are the linebackers. They're doing an excellent job.
We got a replay here. You can see the quick handoff to Spats. Spats makes a beautiful cutback, finds an opening, picks up about 12 yards for the first down.
All right, here's Lacey once again, and that time the man making the tackle is Jimmy Hawk, the linebacker. And that's a gain of 1, so good defensive play by the left side linebacker, Hawk.
Ken, last night we saw a fine linebacker play by the North linebackers, and we're seeing it again here today with these 2 boys from Manchester.
Yeah, strong side linebacker Greg Arnold had quite a game for the Mariners in that win over Southern Regional. He was our player of the game. He was doing everything, blitzing the quarterback all over the field. Fumble. And the quarterback, Zielsdorf, falls on the football, loss on the play. It's going to bring up 3rd and about 11.
Now, that time Zielsdorf attempted to pull out of there just a little bit too early. You could actually see it, but he didn't have the ball. In his anxiousness to throw the ball, they were in a passing set. He pulled out from the center a little bit early, just that few inches, makes a fumble. They're lucky they still have the ball.
I think, Ken, we're going to see the same play.
Randy Parks is going all the way at right cornerback. Lubisher was supposed to see duty back there, but since he moved into the quarterback spot today, he's concentrating on the offense. They try to go to Malika, overthrown, and deep on the play was Lubisher. What happened now? We got a change here. They've moved Lubisher over to the left side on defense. He is playing both ways.
What they may be doing, Ken, is playing Lubisher on Subsea.
Let's watch and see if Lubisher follows Subsea, whichever side he goes on. No, he's not.
No, he's not.
Playing the right now. He's playing the flanker back, Malika. Screen, good blocking, and they're going to get first down out of it. Well executed screen with some good blocking. Jeff Sturman picks up the first down. So Lacey on the move here, midway through the second quarter.
All right, we got a replay coming up here. You can see the beautifully executed screen. Great block out there in the flat, and just Sturman just going down there and fighting for the extra yardage to get the first down.
We have Cliff Adams working the sideline camera once again this afternoon. Mary Beth Duffy and Bob Jewer on the elevated cameras. Mike Dursky's our director in the truck, and Mike Moran, our chief engineer. And if I missed anybody, guys, clue me in. This is Spatz.
We got an injury on a play, Ken.
Manchester player hurt.
This Mike Spatz, Ken, I could see why Rosillo went into this pro variation. Spatz gives him that Carpenter-type big running back that can slice and hit the hole and fight for that inside yardage.
By the way, Bob, what's your reaction to John Amabile resigning this past week?
Well, I hate to see Johnny go. There's a couple things you have to say about John. Number one, he's a great football coach. Number two, loves his players. Number three, he's a highly emotional individual, as most winning football coaches are. And John is known not only for his great play calling ability, but for his temper on the sideline. And this time, evidently, there were some people who were offended by it.
All right, well, he's won 28 games in a row after the win last night. Tied your record, your streak at Red Bank. Spatz again, the ball carrier, tripped up behind the line of scrimmage.
Number 76 in on that tackle, Ken, for Manchester. Here we go.
Well, let's hunt for the name because he's not on our lineup board. And Mickey Brennan, the sophomore, 5'9", 235.
Excellent penetration by Brennan that time from his nose guard position.
Let's put him on our board.
Brennan slanting that time off his nose guard spot and got good penetration in the backfield and had a hold of Spatz just about the time Spatz got his hands on the football. Bootleg pass.
Malika, what a grab! Now he drops it. Looked like he had it with one hand.
Yeah, but it looked like the official was going to reach for a flag, too, and then didn't. I wonder, there was some bumping in there, but whether the ball was in there or not, I don't know. We have a replay here. You can see the bootleg pass, and you can see that the ball was bobbled out there. There was some contact. Referee's right on the spot. He made the call.
Well, we're going to have a field goal try here. It's there's a tee being thrown on the field to Murphy, so we're going to have a field goal attempt by Lacey. Murphy will do the kicking, and the holder's Malika, and Derek Torrey's a snap man. So this is going to be a 20-yarder. Well, it's a 25-yarder. The ball was marked on the 15, so adding the 10 yards. And didn't matter because they ruled it no good.
No, they ruled it good, Ken.
Was it good?
The referee put his hands up. Good.
I'm waiting for the 3 to go on the board, and
what happened?
Whoever's operating the scoreboard's a little slow. We have to take a timeout. We'll explain it when we come back.
And it was just a little bit late going up, and the scoreboard didn't put the points up right away. But the field goal of 25 yards by Mike Murphy was good, so the Lions take a 3-0 lead, and we got that with 4:59 to go in the first half.
So the Lacey Lions get on the board first here at Manchester High School. There you see Murphy, who just kicked the field goal, and he's waiting to get the signal to kick off. Patrico's the deep back for the Hawks. He kicks it on the ground, and it's picked up at the 20-yard line. And on the return was number 22 for Manchester.
That's
J.K. Noonan. Right. J.K. goes 5'7", 133. He's a sophomore. And he is a backup cornerback for Manchester.
That's a very big score, that field goal, Ken, because at least now the Lions have managed to get some points on the board, and that's going to be a little bit of confidence for them.
First down at the 25-yard line. All right, that was batted up in the air and almost intercepted. The man who got his hand on it was Jeff Sturman, the linebacker. Incompleted pass, 2nd and 10.
We got a replay here. You can see the quarterback under pressure, the ball deflected and almost picked off by number 37, the defensive back from Lacey Township, Dan Bruno.
.425 left in the half. 3-0 Lacey. Patrico around the right side, try to turn it in. Now he goes wide. Flag on the play. And the man who made that a little difficult for Phil Patrico was number 21 for Lacey. And that's Rocco Sinatra. What's the penalty? Looks like against the Lions.
I think they're going to call a personal foul against the Lions. A little bit about that Manchester offense, Ken. They're really lining up with an unbalanced line to the right side. They only have 2 people to the left side or to the bottom side of the screen. They're overloading the right side, and they're trying to run behind. That time they pulled 2 linemen, and they had a lead back in there trying to turn that corner. But with that unbalanced line, they're trying to create double-team blocks and blast holes in there. And I think this is what Coach meant before the game, that he wanted to establish a running game. That's why he went to the unbalanced line.
We'll have Lacey again next weekend for you, as they will be home in Lenoka Harbor taking on the Pinelands Wildcats. That was the Thanksgiving Day series, but now it's been changed with Lacey picking up Central on Thanksgiving. We'll also have Brick Memorial at Toms River South. You'll see that game Saturday evening on Channel 8 at 8 o'clock. So Donnie Reed brings his Mustangs in to take on Chip LaBarca's Toms River South Indians. Then, of course, 2 weeks from now, we'll be broadcasting Admiral Farragut. Our look at them as they have the homecoming for the cadets at Pine Beach against Bound Brook. All right, here's Lubisher getting about 3 yards around the left side. Tackle made by 61 of Lacey.
They picked up about 3 yards that time.
Ed Carrivo playing some defense. He's on that offensive line for the Lions. So 2nd and 6. I should tell you, if you got a schedule that was in the newspapers from Channel 8, that game with Admiral Farragut shows St. Cecilia. Well, they will not be the opponent on our Channel 8 game in 2 weeks. It'll be Bound Brook. St. Cecilia dropped football. Never even called Admiral Farragut to tell him. Just dropped football, did away with the program. Everybody would call and say, hey, we don't have a football team anymore. And at the last minute, they rescheduled just before the season started with Bound Brook.
Lubisher back to pass.
This is to number 11, and it's completed. And that's Braun getting a chance to play receiver. He's usually the one throwing the ball,
right,
Dick.
That's almost quarterback to quarterback. Tony made an excellent throw, and Danny Braun came from the inside out, made a great catch.
When Coach Faulkner was talking to us before the game and he said he was going to pull the quarterback switch, Dick, you and I had mentioned that you couldn't keep him on a bench, the other quarterback, because he was too good an athlete. Coach Faulkner already put him out there as the wide receiver and got the first down with an 18-yard pass completion.
At the 39 of the Lions. Quarterback option to Arvanitis, and he is stopped after about a 4-yard gain. So the Hawks on the move here, and they take it down to the 36-yard line.
Bob, I've been fairly impressed here with the Hawks of Manchester. This is a nice club. They seem to be doing a lot of things, and Coach Faulkner said that they were improving, and they are. They look pretty decent.
Yeah, he mentioned attitude was one of the biggest things. The kids could play well in spots, but couldn't put a whole game together.
We have a slot to the far side. Patrico crosses the 35, stopped around the 33. In on the stop was number 53 for Lacey, Derek Torrey, weak side backer.
This formation that they're running, that the Hawks are running, reminds me very much of Duffy Daugherty's old Michigan State offense, with an unbalanced line but a T-split backfield, which allows them to do a lot of things. They're running behind double teams up front, a lot of lead people in front of the ball carriers, but they're able to run still some T offense.
3rd and 5. They fake to Patrico. Quarterback keeps it Lubisher, and Lubisher has a first down. Well, it's going to be very close to a first down. It is a first down.
Excellent call. He had seen on the previous play when he handled the ball off that the Lacey Lions were not staying home. There it is. He tucked the ball under. Tony lunged for the first down, just made it. Excellent play.
Like the Hawks seem to have found themselves. They've got a very nice drive going here.
Well, this time they go to Hawk. I like Jim Hawk playing for Manchester. Hawk for the Hawks. Jeff Sturman on a stop. Strong side linebacker. Gain of a yard at the most. 2nd and 9.
Beautiful tackle by Sturman. Kenny came in knee high and really stopped Hawk in his tracks.
The amazing thing that's happened right now is I don't know whether the Hawks don't have any timeouts or not, but they're letting that clock run down, and it's getting close to being over this quarter.
And if they have any timeouts, they don't do you any good in the locker room, do they?
Lubisher being pressured. Sinatra put a heat on, but he completes it to Arvanitis. And Arvanitis inside the 20-yard line. And right away, the Hawks stopped the clock with 23 seconds to go in the half. Lacey 3, Manchester nothing.
And
watch the replay.
We have the replay. You can see Lubisher's pass to Arvanitis out there. And Arvanitis cutting back in, showing inexperience. The cut should have been out of bounds to stop the clock and still have the timeout left to use, because they have 23 seconds and they could conceivably get a couple of plays off with timeouts. But by going inbounds, forces the Hawks, Coach Faulkner, to use that timeout.
Now, remember, the Hawks used the timeout when Danny Braun was punting earlier. He didn't have enough players on the field, and so they may not, that may have been their last timeout.
Anyhow, any way we look at it, Ray, Manchester's had some good football players. They've had some brilliant individual efforts. They've been unable to put together any kind of consistent game. Here, Lacey's taken 2 drives down the field and came up empty. The 3rd drive, they only managed a field goal. If Manchester can come in now and score here, or even tie the game with a field goal, going into the locker room, they're going to be a fired-up ball club, and they're going to be going in that locker room saying, I believe, and they're going to be very tough for the rest of the game.
You just saw Tom Faulkner, the head coach of the Hawks. Coached at Rutgers University on the freshman level one time, and then went to Jackson High School, and then got back in college coaching at the Coast Guard Academy as an assistant last 2 years, and now here at Manchester. Arvanitis, and he is down by Malika at the 10-yard line. Hawks hurried up. Clock running, 12 seconds, and they better move pretty quickly here. 7 seconds. And this is the last play of the half. Going to number 82, broken up
by number 23, Dave Van Brunt, for the Lacey Lions, and saving a touchdown on the absolute last play of the first half. The clock showing no more time. Lacey team still on the field here. I don't know what's going on.
Watch the replay.
We got
John
the replay.
Reese, the intended receiver.
And you can see John Reese was open right at the goal line. Dave Van Brunt diving in there. Yes, it is the end of the half, and that's got to hurt. Manchester losing a touchdown down here that close, it's got to hurt.
All right, Bob, you want to recap that field goal and how it came about?
Okay, the field goal was the result of about a 40-yard drive, and it was a 25-yard field goal by Mike Murphy. It was about an 8-play drive, Ken. That was the only score we had in the game. The Lions had several big drives. They had a 9-play drive earlier, resulted in an interception. They had an 8-play drive that resulted in a fumble, and the field goal being the only score of the game.
Richard, you want to recap the play of the first half, and maybe based on that, what we might see in the second half?
All right, this is a very similar game to which we saw between Toms River North and Southern. In the second quarter of that ball game, Southern started to move the ball on North, which they hadn't been able to do in that ball game. And here, the Hawks, who weren't moving the ball real well, here near the end of the half, moved the ball in the air and on the ground. They mixed up their plays a little bit better. And I know now the Hawks are probably going to move the ball. They have confidence that they can move the ball against Lacey, and we're going to see them passing the ball more, moving the ball down the field. Lacey, I think, is going to stick basically to their game. They're not going to change much. But the Hawks now, I think you're going to see them throw the ball more.
The first half of play was brought your way by the Ocean Monmouth Lincoln Mercury dealers. And, of course, your local Lincoln Mercury dealers have two right here in Ocean County. In Bricktown, it's Weissleader Lincoln and Mercury, 575 Burnt Tavern Road in Bricktown, and Causeway Ford Lincoln and Mercury, Route 72 East in Manahawkin. Channel 8 High School Football Game of the Week is also brought your way by Mercury in Manahawkin. Bring you the action of this second half on Channel 8 as we get ready to start, along with Ocean County College, right in Toms River. Remember, the future belongs to the educated, and Ocean County College is a place where happy endings begin. And the game's also brought your way by Pine Belt Chevrolet, New Jersey's largest volume Chevrolet dealer in the Shore area. We have a 3-0 game, Lacey leading. The Lions will kick off to the Manchester Hawks, going left to right. Murphy will do the kicking off. And the second half is underway. It's a short kick to the 25, bounces, and a little confusion there. Two of the Hawks went for the ball, finally picked up by number 22 of Manchester, J.K. Noonan. So the Hawks put the ball in play at the 28-yard line. Ken Turp with Dick Patton and Bob Strangia. And I didn't mention all the crew in the first half. We have Jeff Himpley working today, and also Jim Hogan. And I mentioned Mike Moran, our chief engineer, and Mike Dursky, our director in the truck. The handoff goes to Hawk on the first play. Not much of a gain. Tripped up by Sinatra. And it's not the singer. This is Rocco Sinatra, not from the Frank Sinatra family.
I bet you Rocco would trade, Ken.
And he got maybe a half a yard. We'll call it 2nd and 9. And I also mentioned our cameraman today. We have Bob Jewer working to our left. He's working around the 30-yard line. We have Cliff Adams on a sideline camera at the line of scrimmage. Mary Beth Duffy up on top of the press box above us. Arvanitis and a junior trying to get to that sideline, and he was tackled by Sturman, number 24.
He had some help from Dave Van Brunt in there, and that as Dave come up quickly from his defensive back position to close it off for a very short 2-yard gain.
3rd and 7 for the Hawks. We're at Manchester High School in our game of the week, and next week we'll be down at Lacey High School for the first look at the Pinelands Wildcats against the Lions in the Class C game. Wing back in motion, a fake to the wing back. Lubisher to throw to Braun, incomplete. Diving attempt at the ball at the 45-yard line. Covering on the play was Spatz, number 37 for the Lions.
I think that was Dan Bruno, Ken. But Bruno come in and made a dive and attempt to knock that ball down. The ball was poorly thrown. Braun was open.
Okay. You're talking about the player covering on the play,
yeah,
Bob?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, we have a punting situation here. Braun sends it to the far man. And he caught it at 37. There's an opening here. Good blocking by the Lions. And on the return, Richie Deemer, a sophomore, made an excellent return for Lacey. First down at the Manchester 41-yard line. That wall was set up very nicely, Dick.
Yes, it was. And luckily for Manchester, Danny Brennan got in there and made the tackle. Here comes the play now.
All right, we lost it.
Oh, here it is.
Here it is.
Here he's breaking outside. Watch this tackle right there. He's hit out of bounds.
Making the stop was Phil Patrico for the Hawks. All right, we have a brief timeout here by the official. Now we're ready to go. Wing back in motion for the Lions. Pass to the near sideline, going down the sideline, intended for Supsey, and he was well covered by Lubisher all the way.
They tried that play earlier, Ken, in the first quarter, and they were successful with it, but that time Tony was not fooled. He stayed right with the receiver all the way.
Second down and 10 for the Lacey Lions. There you see the line offensive huddle.
The Lions have been able to get pass receivers open, but there's been some problems hitting those open receivers with the different quarterback in there.
All right, here we go. Second and 10. It's Sturman. And Sturman's got a first down. He avoided the one tackle and managed to go for the first down. Good effort by Jeff Sturman, the linebacker, playing some running back.
I see a flag down, Ken. I don't know if that was a face mask or if that's against Lacey. All right, we got a replay coming up here. And here you can see the sweep to the left side. Beautiful running by the back who cuts outside, picks up good yardage. You can see the Manchester man reach in there with his hand, but I don't know if he grabbed the jersey or the face mask. We do have a flag down on the field, and the officials as yet have not given any signal.
Nick, never mind.
All right, there it is. It's going to be a 15-yard penalty against Manchester. Now, I think the penalty is thrown at the spot here. There's some confusion as the officials are discussing it. Anyhow, it should be a Lacey first down when the ball is in spot. Yeah, the penalty's from the spot. It's marked off 15 yards, which is going to give the Lacey Lions a first down on about the 14-yard line.
What I don't understand is why the official standing right there, who was right in front of the play when he was tackled, didn't throw the flag, but a guy 25 yards away did.
Well, it's first and 10 for the Lions at the 14-yard line. They have a chance, still looking for their first touchdown. They lead 3-0. Spatz. And he's tackled by Jim Hawk, playing left linebacker. So it's second down and 7.
From about the 11-yard line.
Anytime a 15-yard penalty is involved, it really hurts the other team. Last evening's ball game, there was a 15-yard penalty, and it allowed one of the teams to score. That's a big chunk of yardage to give up, and players have got to learn that they cannot do that kind of thing in a ball game.
Yeah, important series of downs coming in here now. If the Lacey Lions can get in and get 2 scores up, it's going to be tough for the Hawks to come back.
Supsey to the near side as the flanker. Sturman again off that left side. And gang tackling by the Hawks. And Sturman managed to get to the line of scrimmage as he tried to go wide. Maybe he got a yard. Let's see if they move the yard marker. And they're going to give him a yard, so it's going to be third down and about 4, long 4 for Lacey.
Bob, the Hawks have been fairly tough defensively down close to their goal line. This is the third time now Lacey's been in that close, and the Hawks are tightening up again.
After the play, we'll get back to that a little bit.
All right, here comes Spatz once again, and he's inside the 5-yard line, and he has a first down. So it's going to be first and goal. The Lions are knocking on the door. All right, I'm giving you the wrong player. It's Dan Bruno. I got 37 in my mind for Spatz. Watch it again.
You got the replay coming up here, and you can see Bruno knifing in there for good yardage. The ball's on the 3-yard line for another Lacey first down.
Bruno is 37, and Spatz is 47. So I'll get it straight, folks. 8 minutes to go, third quarter. 3-0 Lacey. Now we have Mike Spatz in there, blocking. And it was Sturman once again. And he went off the right side behind his right guard. Tackle was made
by Jim Hawk.
Well, Jim Hawk, and I see, was that number 54 in there for Manchester? I read the number right?
Yes, you did. Yes, you did, Ken. A good job by the Manchester Hawks defense, and you were just talking about that, Dick, as they actually hit the Lacey ball carrier for a 1-yard loss on that.
Vinny Gallo is number 54, 5'9", 165, a sophomore. And they stack it up again. Manchester getting tough down here. That time it was Mike Spatz, number 47, on the carry, the sophomore.
And we have an injured player, Ken.
It's a Manchester player on the 5-yard line.
Looks
injured.
like 76, but I can't be sure.
That would be Mickey Brennan, sophomore, who's been in there.
That'll be a big loss to the Manchester Hawks. Brennan has made some outstanding defensive plays from his nose guard position in this game. Lacey here now with this is the 4th time in this game Lacey has been down deep inside Hawk territory, and they only managed a field goal. They turned the ball over once on an interception, the other time on a fumble, and then the 3rd time they had the ball deep, they did manage to get a 25-yard field goal.
Well, it's number 76, the injured player. You were right, Dick, Mickey Brennan.
Right, and he's been replaced by number 73, Steve Bauman, who's one of the captains of the team. So
the Lions send the play in. We're ready to go. 3rd and goal. Lacey has 2 plays to punch this one in.
Dave Van Brunt bringing the play in from Coach Vasillo.
3-0, wing to the right. That's Malik on the wing. And they fake and roll out to the right. The Malik got a touchdown. He sent his 2 backs to the left and then roll to the right. Malik, the wing back, has the touchdown. And we'll call that a 4-yard play. Bob?
Yeah, 4 yards, Ken. Actually, they lined up in the wing to the right side. They faked the sweep coming back to the left side, and the quarterback, Ziesendorf, just rolled out to the right side. You got the replay. And you can see the quarterback rolling back to his right side and hitting Malika, who very nicely keeps his feet in bounds for the touchdown.
And he almost knocked Cliff Adams over down here. Ran right into our cameraman. And the extra point is up, and it's good by Murphy. And we have time of the score, 6:55, the 3rd quarter, 10-0 lead for the Lacey Lions. You know what I want to talk about, Dick? We mentioned Times of the North getting their first win now. They've got momentum going now. That should be a boost to the Mariners picking up their first win. I think they can play with Brick next week. I think they got a shot at beating the Dragons.
Yes, because the Dragons are not offensive-minded this year as they've been in the past. They don't run the balls well or pass as well. And North is a very good defensive team. So that could be a very close ball game. And in a close ball game, anyone can win.
Well, I'll tell you, if the Mariners played like they did against Southern Regional in our telecast on Saturday night, or depending on when you watched it, if you saw it on Tuesday night. But I'll tell you, they looked very good, and I think if they can play with Southern, they can play with Brick Green Dragons. It's that balanced in A-Division South this year. Pete Rozell's parody, right, Bob?
Yes, Ken. We had a 12-play drive by the Lions that time for the touchdown.
Hawk from the 20. Hawk still on his feet. Shook a tackler off his ankle and knocked out of bounds at the Manchester 44-yard line.
That's Phil Patrico, 21, Ken.
That was a good effort because he was he had a man draped around his ankle, and it looked like he was stopped, and he got another.
All right, here's the replay. That is Phil Patrico. He comes up the middle, breaks to the outside, number 21. He
right
breaks
there.
the tackle right there. Look at him go. Not a very big guy, but boy, he runs well.
And he got another 10 yards. So Faulkner has to like that effort. So 1st down, and they come out in the slot to the right. Arvanitis in motion. Fumble. They tried to hand off to Hawk, and he never got the football from Lubisher. And recovering for Lacey, I'm going to credit the last man up. Oh, wait a minute, we have the officials stopping play here. They are going to give the ball to Lacey, but we have a flag on the field. Mike Eden, the nose guard, was the last man up, so we'll call Mike Eden the man who recovered the fumble.
And this has been the Manchester pattern all season long. They play tough until they make a few mistakes. As soon as they fall behind, the kids tend to relax and let up, and those turnovers seem to kill them.
Now, do we have a 5-yard penalty? No, we have offsetting penalties.
No, what happened, Ken, was Arvinitis came in motion, and he was headed towards the line of scrimmage, and the flag was thrown in that particular thing, which was backfield in motion. Then the fumble occurred, so they just refused the penalty and took the ball.
All right, so it's Malika, the wingback, and Malika is going to get excellent yardage, and he dives for that first down. Let's see if he got it in bounds. I think he may have a first down, Dick.
They put the ball right next to the stake, and if any part of the ball hits the stake, it'll be a first down.
Well, they don't have to go far to measure it.
I don't know what they're doing.
Watch it again, Dick.
All right, here it is. There he is. He's breaking to the outside. Now he's going to dive right at the stick.
Well, he didn't get it. Second down and less than a yard.
Now, what they should do, Ken, anytime a player gets near those sticks over there, they should get those sticks out of the way, and they didn't. They just dropped them and ran. I know one professional football player, his career was ended because of that.
Big Bubba Smith of the light beer commercials.
Yes, it was, from the Baltimore Colts.
Happened down in Tampa, Florida in a preseason game.
That Spats blasting up the middle there, Ken, for the first down, and he picked up about 8 yards on it.
There was 3 blue shirts led by Lubisher making the stop for Manchester. Also in there was number 53, Don Pierce, the right linebacker. So first down, Lacey. They're on the move again. They lead 10-0. We're in the third quarter at Manchester High School. 5:38 to play in the period. They continue to send Malika in motion, and they give it to Malika. So we've seen that play an awful lot today, that wing back in motion, letting him run the left side.
At least 25% of the time, the wingback has to be involved in this offense for it to really work. He either has to be blocking, he has to be going out for a pass, coming around carrying the ball, or running the counter play.
Now we have a timeout here. So with a timeout, 5:08 to play in the period, 10-0 Lacey. Well, that was a quick timeout. As soon as he signaled it,
it was just an official timeout for a second. That's all it was.
That's all it lasted. It was about a second. Second down and 7. And Lacey goes off the left side once again. And they're down to about the 20-yard line. On the carry, Mike Spatz. Third down and call it 3 for the Lions.
It looks like the Lions are going to be content here to just try and drive this ball from tackle to tackle every once in a while with a little reverse going outside, and they seem to be wearing the Hawks down with it.
Yeah, they're using a lot of substitutions. They're getting a lot of players into the game. It is a warm, sticky afternoon, and the Lions are doing exactly that. They're wearing down Manchester, and the Lions now call for a timeout.
And we'll take a timeout with a score, Lacey 10 and Manchester nothing, 4:25 left, third period. Official. We got Pete Luciano in there at quarterback now, the regular quarterback, who wasn't supposed to play today. And with Lacey leading, I'm surprised he's in now, Bob.
I'm kind of surprised at that, too. Vasilla must feel pretty confident that he was ready to go and said he could put him in there today. I think he just wants to tune him up a little bit. He may leave him in for this one series and then get him out of here.
Well, I think you missed something that happened earlier in the game. When Allen threw the touchdown pass for Lacey, he was cold-cocked then and knocked almost out, and they had to drag him off the field, so that could be why the quarterback situation has changed.
All right, first down for Lacey. Mike Spatz gets a hole. Mike Spatz touchdown. There it is. That Lacey line did a job on that play. And there you see Mike Spatz, number 47, who just blasted right up the middle for the touchdown.
I mentioned earlier, Ken, that this offensive set was very effective for the Lacey Lions. We have the replay here, and watch Spatz just blast up in there. I liken him to a Rob Carpenter kind of runner, and he makes that one back set very effectively because he can run from tackle to tackle with great power. He has good forward lean, and he blasts in there.
Here's the extra point by Murphy, and he's got it. Time of the score, 3:56 of the third quarter. Bob, the distance on the scoring play by Spatz.
All right, it was a 16-yard touchdown run, Ken, right up the middle.
And in a minute, Bob will total it up and give you the amount of plays and the length of the drive for the Lacey Lions. So they put that touchdown on there that could really put them in a driver's seat here 17-0. And, of course, next week, Lacey will be hosting Pinelands in another C Division game, which will be bringing you on Channel 8. So they've kind of just been methodical today as they just pound away at the Manchester Hawks.
All right, Ken, very short 5-play drive that time. Lacey started on the Hawks' 49-yard line. 5-play drive, all on the ground, featuring the 16-yard TD by Spats for the touchdown, making it 16-0, and a kick by Murphy, making it 17-0.
As I said earlier at the halftime when we were making predictions of how they were going to play, I said Lacey wouldn't change anything, and they're not. They're just running basic plays, only passing when they have to.
Arvanitis will let it go, and it rolls out of bounds down around the 10-yard line. So they'll bring it out, Dick, to the
40-yard line. That's the penalty. It's given to Manchester on the 40-yard line anytime you kick the ball out of bounds. Of course, in college now, if you kick the ball out of the end zone, oh, here's the replay. There's the ball. Now watch, Arvanitis is just going to let it roll. He knows it goes out of bounds. They're going to get pretty good field position, and he does.
Bob, last night we talked, you weren't with us at the Tomsboro North game, that it seems like we're seeing an awful lot of players letting those punts get by them, and they're not going after the football. Warren Wolf always yells during warm-ups, catch the ball in the air.
Always have to catch that ball, always. You can't afford to let that ball drop unless it's inside the 10-yard line. You don't want to take a chance fielding it then.
Here's Lubisher, plenty of time, and then he couldn't find anybody open. He's still on his feet, and he's got blockers. And Lubisher's got a first down. Beautiful effort by the sophomore quarterback.
And we have an injured player.
Mike Murphy in a stop, Bob?
Yeah, Murphy coming up and saving what could have been a touchdown there, and it looks like it's Hawks down. You can see the replay coming up here, and you can see Lubisher drops back to pass. He's got pressure. He eludes one tackler there, gets a block, cuts outside, picks up blockers. Looks like he's really going to go, and all of a sudden Murphy closes fast on him and drives him out of bounds. And I think that's Hawks down. That's going to be a big loss for Manchester if it is.
1st and 10 for the Hawks at the Lacey 40-yard line.
Ken, it looks like a leg cramp out there. It looks like he's pressing the toe forward, and it may just be a leg cramp. I hope that's all it is.
We're getting early September weather here today. This is not what you'd expect in the middle of October or 3rd week of October, so very warm day. Everybody in shirt sleeves, some of the people just bringing light sweaters. A beautiful day. The sun has emerged again. We lost it there for a while in the first half, but it's out again. There you see Hawk coming off. He's okay. That is the doctor there in the blue shirt for Manchester.
I understand this doctor's been around for a while, huh, Ken? He's been a doctor.
I think he used to be the doctor at Central Regional at one time. I think it's Dr. Camerata, but I'm not sure.
You know, many of these doctors come for what would be a very low fee, and sometimes they even donate their time to schools just because of their love of kids and their love of football.
All right, Lubisher brings up in a slot to the far side. Split backfield. Slot man in motion. That's Arvanitis. He's got the ball. And not enough blockers. Making the stop was Bob Malika, number 20. And also there was Sturman, 24. And there was a third white shirt for Lacey. I believe it was 53 in there in the stop. And that's Derek Torrey, the weak side backer. So both linebackers were there, along with weak side end Bob Malika.
Well, it looks like Dr. Carmala has another patient out there.
Arvanitis, the man who carried the ball.
Yeah, I think you said it before. I know what's happened. It's a warm, muggy afternoon, and a lot of these players are starting to cramp up. They may not have taken enough water or enough salt, and that's what it looks like. We have another cramp right here because Arvanitis signaled to one of his other teammates that he was okay. The doctor's out there. They're squeezing his leg. Usually when you get that cramp, if you squeeze it real hard and you put direct pressure on it, it'll make it go away.
He's all right. He's going to go off.
All right, the doctor there, Dr. Carmata.
So the Hawks lose a yard, 2nd and 11. Again, the slot to the right. And right up the middle. And again, Torrey on a stop. Ball carrier was number 25, Danny Horrigan, sophomore.
And it was the play of the linebacker in there that actually made that tackle. Jeff Sturman stuffed the tackle, which enabled the, who was that, Ken, that made the original tackle?
Torrey, the weak side backer.
By those two working together, that made that play possible on defense.
3rd and 10, they got a yard. Lubisher's gonna have to go up top. No, he doesn't. He hands off to Hawk, and Hawk straight ahead, and Rocco Sinatra was there to greet him along with Mike Eden, the nose guard. And that's going to bring up 4th down and call it 8. So let's see if the Hawks will punt. They trail 17-0.
I haven't seen a punter go into the game yet, Ken.
Well, dropping back is Murphy for Lacey, but now he's being called back.
Hawks just went back in the game with a play.
They're not going to punt. Danny Braun comes in. He'll go to the far side as a receiver, and they line up in that same slot to the far side. Patrico whispering something to the fullback, maybe give him a play. Flags all over the place. And almost intercepted. And that time it was number 37 and not 47. So we have flags all over. And Danny Bruno almost picked one off.
I believe it was backfield in motion, but I could be wrong.
Interesting thing here is if it was backfield in motion, it's before the play. We got a replay coming up here. Let's see if we can see it. All right, there you go. The setback, I think it was Hawks, moved his feet before he took off, which resulted in the penalty. Lacey Lions getting the ball.
And they take over at their own 42-yard line.
Alan Detweiler, who is running the clock, just came to me and said that number 11, Danny Braun, was lined up in the backfield. So they had 5 backs in the backfield, and that was what the penalty was for.
You know, he talked about the freshman team at Lacey being outstanding this year, 4-1 on the season, only losing to Freehold Township. I want to talk about their team in a minute. They got a prospect coming up you're going to be hearing about. Here goes Malika, the wingback. And he fought off the one tackle, managed to turn into a gain. So good effort. Jim Hawk came up to the line of scrimmage, but Malika avoided the tackle and went for some distance. He got a nice gain on that play of, call it 6 yards. Luciano in there, Dick?
Yes, he is.
Another Manchester. They're going down every play now, the Manchester Hawks. That freshman team has a kid by the name of O'Rourke that is a very fast running back for Lacey, and he's a big, strong kid. And John Kilmurray says he is, if you know, he keeps his grades up and doesn't get into any problems with injuries, he's going to be quite a future player for Lou Versillo. And the name O'Rourke is familiar because his dad succeeded the late Joe Boyd as head coach of the Central Regional Golden Eagles.
It's almost like breeding racehorses, Ken. Those bloodlines run true in an awful lot of cases, don't they?
O'Rourke played some football with the New York Jets when they were in the AFL, and he's, I believe, still teaches at Central Regional. So that's a name to watch in the future here for Lacey. 2nd down and 4. Luciano rifles at the Malika, 1st down, and Malika gets down to the 42-yard line. Tackled by number 10, Hogan.
Ken, you can't give the receiver that much room. The defensive back is playing almost 15 yards back, and all that receiver has to do is take about 3 steps. He's wide open. Then once he's got the football, it's one-on-one, and he can just outrun him.
I said 10 is Hogan. That should be Romans. Joe Romans made that stop. Here's a big hole.
That's, guess who, Ken? That's your buddy Spatz.
Mike Spatz. I tell you, he's a good-looking sophomore, and I liked him last year. He played, when they had all those injuries, they brought him in as a freshman, and he played some varsity. And he's a big, strong kid. That's an 8-yard gain, 2nd and 1.
All right, you got the replay coming up, and you can see the kind of power that Spats exhibits. And I can't believe he's a young ball player. He's going to be really one of the better running backs in the shore when he gets a little older.
Luciano goes to the left side, and that's completed to Sturman. 1st down, and Sturman finally ridden out of bounds by Pierce, the right side linebacker, number 53. There you see the clock, 18 seconds ago, 3rd quarter, 17-0 Lacey.
Having Luciano back in there gives the Lions a heck of a lot more play selection now, as they're readily mixing up their passes and their runs very nicely here.
Timeout Manchester. Luciano, also a basketball player for John McIntosh at Lacey, and he runs the team from the guard position in basketball. Luciano came up through the Pop Warner system and was a standout for the Lacey Pop Warner program.
Question why you call a timeout with 18 seconds. You're going to get one after the next play free.
I don't know. You tell me. You guys were coaches. Dick, you want to guess at that?
Well, from what I've been observing in the 3rd quarter, it looks like the Lacey Lions are wearing the Hawks down. They look like they're getting tired. And I just think they probably felt like, let's not give them another play right here while we're tired and disorganized. Let's get ourselves back together and see if we can't hold them out.
You know, one of the things we used to notice with the Hawks was as the games wore on in previous years, they seemed to walk up to the line of scrimmage. I don't know whether it was because they were losing football games and they just got discouraged, or whether it was because they weren't in top shape. And Tom Faulkner and I talked before the season opener, and he said that one of the things he wanted to stress was conditioning.
Tom Faulkner and I were talking about that before the game, Ken. He said one of the difficult things is getting all of the kids here every day. And when kids miss practice, that hurts. To be a finely tuned athlete, you've got to work your hardest every single day of the week.
Well, the Manchester district is spread out all over the place, and when you have that kind of a situation, it's hard getting the kids to practice and getting them home. Here's Spats looking for a shot up the middle, but he didn't get anywhere. And I know that in a regional school district such as Central or Southern, you have your kids living all over in different towns, and it's really hard to get to togetherness and to work as a group in things that you should be doing away from the supervision of the coaches.
Yeah, one of the big problems there is that team unity. The kids don't really know each other that well. They come from all over, and they have to get along.
All right, that's the end of the 3rd quarter with a score. The Lacey Lions 17, the Manchester Hawks 0. And Dick Patton, Bob Strand, under the shadow of the hangar at Lakehurst on the Naval Air Base. Supsey diving for it. Did he trap it or catch it? I think the official's going to give him a catch at the 19-yard line. Good catch by Supsey.
Excellent catch. One of the other things that's hurting the Hawks right now, I'd say at least 95% of their players are going both ways, and it is a very hot day.
3rd and 4. And that time, nowhere to go for Sturman. He's wrapped up by number 57, Danny Brennan, a 200-pound junior left end.
Fourth down here. And it's going to be interesting here in terms of what the Lacey Lions do, whether they're going to try a long field goal or whether they're going to try and get the 1st down. The play coming in from the sideline, they're going to go for the 1st down, Ken, or the touchdown.
All right, Luciano sends Malika in motion, fakes to Spats. Ball was deflected, and I think it's number 54 that got the hand on it. Gentlemen, did you see it?
I believe it was, yeah.
Yes, Ken, number 54, diving for it.
That's Vinny Gallo.
Vinny Gallo is a sophomore.
Here's the play right there. He leaps up there. He's got his right hand, and when he was up in the air, someone hit him, and that's why he kind of walked off the field, kind of limping a little bit because he made a tremendous play.
So Manchester holds, and they take over the football. They have it at the 19. So Lacey trying to come up with a shutout today. See what Manchester can do offensively. Lubisher to Patrico. Patrico cut it in nicely and avoided the on-rushing charge of Sturman. And finally, Derek Torrey came in, and he had some help from Dave Smith, number 49, a 5'10", 170-pound senior.
You know, Phil's not very big. He only weighs about 140 pounds, Ken, and therefore it doesn't take much to bring him down. He did a good job there of getting away from some of those tacklers.
He's been playing for 3 years, and he got about 2. It was a hard 2, and it's 2nd and 8. But he avoided the loss when Sturman shot into the secondary. Flag is thrown. Movement on that offensive or defensive line. Looks like it's going to go against the Lacey Lions.
I don't understand that call because the ball wasn't snapped. He jumped into the neutral zone and jumped back out of the neutral zone again before the ball was snapped, and he still called a penalty. I thought you had to make contact, but I guess they've changed the rule.
2nd and 2. Patrico reversed. They lost the handoff, and it's covered by Manchester. He tried to go to Patrico, who handed off on the reverse, and it was Horrigan who fell on a football. They lose on the play. It's going to bring up 3rd and 7. Malika in there, Bob?
Just starting to think in terms of who's had good games. Malika's had a good games, played both ways. Murphy's kicked a field goal, a couple of extra points, and had some big plays on defense and offense.
Lubisher, and I think he has a completion. I can't see in front of the Manchester players, but it's Oregon, and Oregon has a first down for the Hawks. Ball at the 30-yard line. And they better change that down marker. Now they do. First down. Thank you. Little mix up there. They bumped into each other in the backfield, and he does throw the ball nicely. Flag on a play, and that's going to be on number 37.
Dan Bruno, a little bit overly aggressive. He hit the receiver before the ball got there. Bruno has been playing a brilliant game on defense. Just a little over-aggressive that time, Ken. It's going to cost him. We got a replay coming up here.
It's thrown to sophomore Tony Merrill.
You can see Lubis should drop back. He's got the receiver open out in the flat here, and you can see that Bruno clearly made contact before the ball got there. Result, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
We have 8:30 left to play in this game. Lacey Lions looking for their 3rd victory. They come in 2-2. And the right side of the Manchester line moved too quickly. Number 73 jumped the gun for Manchester. And whether he was drawn off or not, I don't know.
Either the line moved too quickly or the center didn't snap the ball on time.
73 is Steve Bauman.
And in the locker room, both of them are going to be saying that the other one was wrong. The count was late, the offensive lineman will be saying, and the center was going to say that the lineman left early.
Well, it's against the Hawks, 5 yards. First down at 15, and the ball is back at the 40-yard line. Braun looks like he's lining up offside. Danny Braun here. Look at the receiver to the near side. In the offsides, there's a flag, but they're looking down to the left. Looked like Braun was way offsides.
Well, actually, there may have been too many men on the line of scrimmage with him coming up like that because there was nobody in the wingback set and only 2 setbacks back there. But I don't think the officials saw him because he was in a split position.
Yeah.
They were looking at the other side, right?
It's going to be against Lacey, and I tell you, Braun looked like he had a head start on that one. Braun, of course, not used to playing receiver. He had been the quarterback.
I don't know what happened there, but I could guess. Is that unsportsmanlike conduct if you call the offensive signals from the defensive huddle? Well, what's he signaling? It looks like that's what it was.
It's a first down for Manchester at the 45. So Lacey has given away a lot of yardage here in penalties in this series.
Unsportsmanlike conduct penalty, and they indicated it was on number 20. Bob
Malika. Well, that time they lose a yard. And coming up there quickly that time for the Lions was number 50, and that's Mike Opacity, who we haven't seen, another sophomore, 5'9", 185, a tackle. And number 22 lost some yardage. John Arvanitis, number 22 for Manchester is, again, bear with us with this horrible roster. It's,
that's J.K. Noonan.
2nd and 11. Lubisher keeps it, pitches it out of bounds, and Patrico never had a chance of catching that pitch. Bad pitch. So to bring up third. Watch it again. Watch this bad pitch.
We got to play here. You can see that Lubisher comes outside, but that option attack is based on timing. And when a quarterback's getting hit there, he pitches the ball, which breaks that timing, and the pitch goes out of bounds. He can't do that. He's got to anticipate and pitch the ball before he gets hit to keep that timing. You know, Ken, the Hawks, I think if Mike's stats are correct, have only had one drive deep into the Lions' territory in the whole game so far.
3rd and 12. Lubisher is sacked, but he got the ball off. Intercepted out of bounds. Intercepted, but it won't count. Man was out of bounds, and that's your number 37, Bob.
Yeah, I said he's had a great game.
Danny Bruno.
Dave Van. All right, you have the replay coming up here. And you can see the quarterback drops back, hums the ball out there for Braun, but the ball is over Braun's head, right into Dan Bruno's hands, but Bruno's momentum carried him out of bounds. His feet didn't touch ground inbounds, so the interception's no good. It's going to bring up a 4th down for Manchester, and big decision here. They're near midfield, but they have a 4th and about 12 to go.
We have a timeout with 7:35 left to play. 17-0 Lacey over Manchester. We'll take a brief timeout. Game award from Channel 8, and last night in that Toms River North game, I went to linebacker Greg Arnold of the Mariners in the win over Southern Regional. So stay tuned for that after the football game. And we have several candidates for this game, as we did in that Toms River North game last night.
When we pick an MVP, it's a very tough thing to do because we have to pick it as we see the game and as we call the game. And the coaches sometimes will disagree after they've gone over a film 15 times, but we don't have that privilege up here. So we just call by the MVP by who we think had a great game and who hustled and who helped their team the most and made the big plays.
Next week, Manchester goes to Keyport, and we had the Keyport Scouts right in front of us today, Bob. Keyport's a tough football team.
That Keyport team's unbeaten, averaging about 33 points a game, and they're a very tough football team.
Lubisher, and he's trapped, and he's going to take a loss. He avoided a couple of on-rushing linemen, but finally it caught up with him on a stop. Mike Berardo, and he's the left tackle, 6 foot 190, a junior.
All right, here you can see Lubisher showing excellent mobility here, eluding one tackler, but Mike Berardo recovering nicely with great second effort for the sack.
So that's going to be Lacey football now. And they have it at the Manchester 47. Lions leading 17-0. Malika goes in motion. Mike Spatz. Spatz going wide. And for a big guy, he moves pretty quick. And an excellent defensive play by Patrico.
Spatz looks like he's about 220 pounds coming around that corner. If I was a 140-pound defensive back, boy, I'd think twice. You've got to hit that big guy low, or you're not going to bring him down. You're going to bounce off.
4-yard gain, 2nd and 6. watching Clear Television, Cable Channel 8, high school football game of the week. Manchester hosting Lacey Township, not Central Regional. Luciano sets up, and he tried to go to Murphy, and it looks like big, tall number 82 was the man who got a hand on the football. John Reese, a 6'4", 196-pound senior tackle.
Luciano tried to set up a delayed screen back here to the left side, and it just wasn't there. The defense read it nicely and slid underneath it. You can watch it. I think we have a replay coming up on this. Here it is. See the Lions up over the ball. Luciano dropping back nicely, and all of a sudden the screen sets late to the left, and the ball is deflected. Nice play by Manchester.
3rd and 6. Luciano again goes up top, and he's got a first down this time. And is that Malika 20 or was that Sinatra 21? I think it was Malika. It is Malika for the first down. Malika's had a big game today. He's run that wing back play an awful lot for good yardage, and he's made some good pass receptions. He's playing defense.
I've noticed with Pete Luciano, he looks like he's a little rusty throwing the ball. Lineman, and that time he was lucky because he had a passing lane, but you have to get it up over those linemen when you're throwing the ball into the middle.
Lacey 30 yards away from the goal line. Quarterback keeper, he sets up the throw. He's going for the bomb. Incomplete. He looked like he had a lot of running room, didn't he?
Yeah, that was a bootleg back to the right side, but it was passed all the way. He had a wide lane with 2 or 3 blockers in front of him. When I was coaching football, Cameron, whenever we had that, our quarterback had an automatic call that if he rolled out there and he saw that kind of daylight, he could holler a hot call, and those linemen would know enough to move out and block somebody. But he had a lot of room. He looked like he could have picked up about 15 or 20 yards.
Malika, the intended receiver, and Lubisher was with him going down that sideline.
I'm pretty sure the coach doesn't want him to run with the football.
2nd and 10. Malika in motion to the near side. And here's a big hole here. Here's a first down for Lacey. And a carry made by Dave Van Brunt, who we saw earlier in the game running the ball. He hasn't run it much here in the second half, but he made a good effort there for the first down. He takes it all the way down to the 15.
That's that simple inside counter play, which Lacey, you can watch the replay here. You can see him, Dave Van Brunt, cutting through, picking up good yardage, a nice slicing type runner.
And he's actually on the 20, not the 15. So 1st and 10 for Lacey at the Manchester 20-yard line. Slot to the near side, quick count. And almost picked off by Patrico as they tried to go to Sturman. And Luciano had plenty of time that time to throw the ball.
Ken, an interesting thing here. Since Luciano's come into the game, the Lacey offense has been about evenly split between run-pass. As a matter of fact, the last series they had the ball, it went run-pass, 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 all the way down. We got a replay coming up here again. See Luciano drop back here, sets, steps, delivers, and the ball almost intercepted.
Back to live action. Lacey, Van Brunt got a blocker, and Van Brunt takes it down to the 4-yard line. On a stop, Randy Parks, right cornerback. It looked like Van Brunt might take it all the way that time.
They picked up 12 yards in the first down there, putting the ball on about the 3-yard line.
1st and goal for the Lacey Lions. Luciano waiting for the play. Sturman brings it in. First down from the 4-yard line. Sturman, no, met and tossed back for the 5-yard line.
That was Hawks in there. Jim Hawks coming through from his linebacker spot, stopping Sturman for a loss.
Hawk is a 5'6", 660-pounder, and he's a junior. So a loss on the play of about 2. So it'll bring up 2nd and goal from the 6.
Here's the replay. Now watch it. He holds him up, and then a whole host of blue jerseys get over there and knock him down. Excellent team defense.
Who's the best linebacker you ever saw in high school football, guys? Think about that one for a minute, and I'll come back to you.
Phil Villapiano count, Ken?
No, I don't consider him that great of a high school player. I shouldn't say that. He's a good friend of mine. Here's Malika for a touchdown. Call that a 6-yard run. Time of the score, 3 minutes and 58 seconds. I shouldn't say that. He wasn't on winning football teams at Ocean Township. Let's watch the replay.
Got a replay. You can see Malika go behind good blocking and just lunge for the goal line. Excellent run by Malika, who doesn't hurt his MVP chances with that, does he, Ken?
And the extra point attempt will be attempted by Murphy. He's been a good kicker today for the Lions. He's had a field goal. The distance on the field goal, Bob? That kick is up and it looks good.
25 yards on the field goal.
And he just added another extra point. He's been perfect today with his conversions, right, Bob?
Yes, he has. He's made every kick.
So it's Lacey 23 and Manchester nothing. And Bob?
Well, I remember a few great ones at Brick, but I'm partial to a couple of kids I had up at Red Bank. A kid named Stevie Hill on my undefeated team. He was super. Stevie averaged 12 solo tackles a game and had about 8 pass interceptions as the middle linebacker, and he returned 4 of those interceptions for touchdowns. He also had about 9 sacks for the season.
We got a new kicker. Rich Deemer is going to get a chance to kick off here instead of Murphy, and he's a sophomore. Well, I got to agree with Dick Patton. Harry Walters of the great 68-69 Times Over South teams. He played with Maryland when they had Randy White. And here's a short kick and picked up by number 10, and that's Joe Romans, 6'4", 230. So good field position. But there was another great linebacker I saw, not from this area, from my old wow, that we almost got blown out of the press box. We're getting all kinds of noises in our headset. The other linebacker I saw that was a great one, Warren Wolf might remember. He played for Phillipsburg, where I used to live. George Hummer, first team All-State. He destroyed Brick one year, really bad. They're going long. Romans picked off at the 35-yard line. Murphy is finally nailed, but not before he gets into Manchester territory.
I hope they have a replay on that, because the coach of Lacey got knocked over, head over heels, and did a backward roll.
Chuck Phillips finally ran Murphy out of bounds.
They got a replay coming up here. You can see Lubisher drops back, airs out the ball. Now watch Murphy leap in the air, grab the ball, cut to the sideline, get some blockers here, keeps on going, sheds a one tackler, finally driven out of bounds there after a great return.
First down Lacey at the Manchester 37-yard line. Late in this football game. Draw. Spatz. Look at Spatz go. First down Lacey. He's down to the 24-yard line. Patrico on the stop for the Hawks, and now we have a timeout, Manchester. Go ahead, Dick.
That was an excellent call. Luciano's been passing, and now here's the replay. He gives it to it. Look at that hole. That line opened. It had to be at least 7 feet wide for him to run through, and he made the most out of that.
You talked about Harry Walters, and he not only played at Maryland, where he was all-East linebacker, but he played for many years in the Pro League up in Canada. He was all-pro in the Canadian Football League. George Hummer played at Arizona State for Fran Cush, who's now the coach of the Baltimore, I should say Indianapolis Colts. Here's a hole here, and Van Brunt gets some good yardage down to the 15-yard line. So Lacey knocking once again for another score late in the ball game.
You know, I've had a lot of conversation with Harry Walters. All right, here's the replay. To watch this is an inside reverse. He just gets him the ball, and he cuts back through. They opened a hole there, another big hole. But Harry Walters would say to me, you could have been All-American too, Dick, if you played behind Randy White.
Yeah, that was some Maryland team. I think about 14 of those Maryland players when they were seniors were drafted by the pros. Van Brunt to the 3-yard line. Tackle made by that cornerback who's played a good game today, Randy Parks.
In reference to that Randy White team at Maryland, I happen to watch films of him extensively with Jim Garrett, who's now coaching with the Cleveland Browns, when Jim at that time was director of scouting with the Dallas Cowboys, and he was assigned to pick the best pass rushing lineman in the country, and he had films of several. And after I watched Randy White, he was being double and triple teamed on every single play and still was absolutely awesome. So I can understand what Harry Walters meant by that.
Harry used to get a lot of tackles at Maryland because they were all worried about Randy White and double or triple teaming Randy, and Harry would just come in there and clean up house.
Yeah, but
we have a penalty on a play, so that's going to deny that Lacey effort of Van Brunt's, and they're going to bring that ball back. Richard, did you see what the flag was all about?
I'm sure it was either holding or hitting below the waist, because it took place right where Dave Van Brunt was tackled.
So it's a 2nd and 10 back at the 25-yard line. Here's the reverse. Malika, and Malika is going to go for a touchdown. Beautiful reverse, very quick handoff in that backfield.
It was almost the same play, Ken, that they had just run with the Dave Van Brunt carrying, just a little variation, same kind of a reverse. Here's the replay. Now watch the handoff. The flow's all going the other way, and he carries the ball right into the end zone. Now, there it is. Now there's a double reverse. Here he comes. He's out there all by himself. He's got 2 blockers in front of him. Luciano throws a block, which enables him to get into the end zone.
And the snap was fumbled, low snap. And I'll tell you, that was a beautiful pass there for the 2-point conversion.
That was Bob Malika threw that ball. And
Malika, and he threw that well because he had to pick that ball up the tee when it was rolled back to him, Dick.
Yes, I'm trying to see who caught the ball. They're patting somebody on the head. I don't know who it is.
Is that Van Brunt, number 23?
I'm trying to think of who it is. I can't see
I don't think
it.
we're going to get a replay. We watch it again. But that was handled very nicely by
Malika threw the ball. I know Malika threw the ball, but I couldn't see who was playing out there.
So Lacey going for 1 ends up with 2. And that gives them a 32-0 lead here. 1:32 left to play. I'm going to ask you another question, gentlemen. The best high school quarterback you ever saw play. Think about that one for a minute. I've got 2 in mind I saw mainly down here in Ocean County. But
well, I know you got to have Robbie Keys in one of them. Robbie was absolutely
24
tremendous.
touchdown passes, first team All-State, #1 quarterback in the state.
Now, who's your other
6'5" quarterback. The other one I was thinking about got more publicity as a basketball player, 2-time Duke University basketball captain. You know who I'm talking about? Kevin Billerman of St. Joseph and Tom's River, now Monsignor Donovan. That ball bounces to 10. Horrigan. And Horrigan stumbles up to the 25. Good return by Danny Horrigan.
I hope the fans like our new trivia feature that we've added to the show here.
Well, when you get a game like this, you tend to kind of start talking about other things when it gets to be a runaway. Dick, how about quarterbacks you've seen?
Oh, I've seen so many that I don't think I can single anybody out.
There's been a lot of great ones. Applegate, Brian was a great option quarterback at Toms River South. His brother now playing for the Indians. He was a great runner in that option for Toms River South.
The Ryan that played at Toms River North was a fine quarterback. He got a scholarship to Boston College.
He was a great passer, Mike Ryan.
Dick, I wonder if you can head down and grab Malika. Coach Priscillo knows enough to stay. I talked to him before the game. I talked to both coaches. They won, but the PA system is broken. So Malika will have no way of knowing that he's our MVP. And all the gentleman did was score 3 touchdowns today, play tremendous defense, pass for a 2-point conversion.
Watch it again.
We have a replay coming up here on the last play.
All right, Dick's going to head down to the
Lubisher handing off. Play going around to the left side. Stopped out there for about a 5-yard gain.
You know, you talk about pure passer. Mike Ryan would have to be one of the all-time greats at Toms River North.
Oh, Ken, Mike Ryan was. He was a super passer, Ken.
2nd and 4. Patrico looked like he was almost going to throw the ball the way he handled that.
Oh, you may see a flag there. I guess not, because he was hit out of bounds. I'm surprised there's no flag there on that.
Well, we're down to the final 5 seconds, Bob. That play stopped the clock as he went out of bounds. You're going to have a lot of recapping to do, Bob, in a moment. So we're going to try to get Lou Versillo on, along with Bob Malika. So this could be the final play right here. 5 seconds ago, Lacey Lions are going to pick up their 3rd victory of the year.
It's going to be interesting when we try and do this recap on his scoring, Ken.
Trico going long. DeBron batted down by, see what the number is there, number 35 for Lacey, Mike Burnwick, a sophomore, 5'7", 155. So the end of the game with the final score, the Lacey Lions 32, and the Manchester Hawks nothing. Bob, recap the scoring.
All right, the game started very slowly. Lacey had 3 big drives. They weren't able to capitalize on them. The first score came at 4:59 in the second quarter after a 65-yard, 9-play drive with a 3-point field goal by Mike Murphy from 25 yards out. The Manchester came back but was unable to score on the last play of the first half. In the second half, the Lacey Lions took the ball and made it 10-0 at 6:55 in the third quarter on a pass play of 4 yards. Rob Malika taking it in for the touchdown. Then in the third quarter, at 3:56 in the third quarter, the Lions scored in 6 plays. TD was by Spatz, making it 16-0. Murphy got the kick for make it 17-0. Going on after that, the Lions then consumed a big chunk of the fourth quarter, about 4.5 minutes, with Malika scoring on a 20-yard run to make it 20-0. 20-yard run making it 23-0. Murphy kicking, making it 24-0. The last score of the game came on a pass by let me calm down here a little bit. On a beautiful 25-yard reverse to Malika for the TD, and it made it 30-0 at 1:32 in the fourth quarter. There was a low snap on the extra point. Malika passed for the 2 points to Van Brunt, and that made it 32-0, which was our final score, Ken.
Bob, we have no triple header this weekend. No need to hurry. We're not going anywhere but home.
Yeah, how about next week?
Next week, we still only have 2 games. All right. Let me tell you that the crew today, doing an excellent job behind the scenes, was Bob Jure, Mary Beth Duffy, and Craig Adams on the cameras. We had Jeff Himpley, Jim Hogan, working behind the scenes today as assistants. Our director in the truck was Mike Dursky. Our chief engineer was Mike Moran. And let me tell you that the game was brought your way by Pine Belt Chevrolet, which is the largest Chevrolet dealer in the Jersey Shore area. They have the biggest volume of Chevrolets for 1985. And also by Ocean County College, which is your community college right in Toms River and Hooper Avenue. And remember, the future belongs to the educated, and Ocean County College is a place where happy endings begin. And the game was also brought your way by the Lincoln Mercury dealers, and of course your local Lincoln Mercury dealers. We have 2 of them here in Ocean County. Weiss Leader on 575 Burnt Tavern Road in Bricktown, and also by Causeway, Ford, Lincoln and Mercury, Route 72 East in Manahawkin. And we'll be back with a post-game show with number 20, Bob Malika of Lacey Lions, and Dick Patton has them right now down on the sideline. On winning today and how the team played overall.
We started off slow and we had to pick things up at halftime. Came in at the second half, executed well. That's about it.
Yeah, well, the second half really picked up. What was talked or discussed at halftime with Coach Versillo?
Certain blocking schemes, going out, getting linebackers, shooting the gaps.
Now, Coach Strand, you mentioned this Delaware wing T that Lou Versillo runs at Lacey, and you play wing back, and that's a vital part of the offense because you have to carry the ball to make that effective. Why don't you explain the thinking behind what you do at wing back?
I don't carry the ball too often. I'm just mainly blocking, maybe receiving.
Well, you carried it quite a bit today. I don't know how many rushes he had. Dick, you have any idea how many times approximately he carried the ball?
No, I don't, but I think he doesn't understand your question. What we're saying is the wingback has to be involved. In other words, you have to block, you have to catch passes, but you have to keep the defense honest because you have to come back with that reverse. So if you're not active, the offense is ineffective because then they don't worry about you at all. They have to be constantly worried about you. Do you understand what we're saying? So don't you think you were involved today?
Yeah, a little bit.
A little bit. How many touchdowns? 2?
Yeah, 3.
3. And you play defense. And I'm going to ask you the usual question: do you prefer defense or offense?
Not much like off defense. If it's more or less like a blitzing type, but we don't do very much of that. Offense, good.
How about talking about the junior quarterback? He seemed to do a nice job today. I understand he played last week for the first time with Luciano out.
Yeah, Alan came in today. Last week did a very good job, threw a touchdown pass, filled in very well. This week we got Peter to come in towards the end of the game because we were up a little bit. He did good.
And we were talking about Spats. Last year, you got a chance to play as a freshman. You had all those injuries at Lacey, and for a big guy, he seems to be pretty quick.
Yeah, he's a sophomore now and look for big things. He's a big guy.
All right, now next week we're going to have you on Channel 8 again. Pinelands, right. Well, enjoy this one for a while first, but when do you start thinking about the Pinelands game?
Right about tomorrow.
Don't waste any time.
No, sir.
Okay. Dick, anything you want to ask Malika before I let him go?
Yes, I do. On the extra point, the ball was fumbled. You picked it up, right?
Bad snap and sound on Jeff Sturman.
You threw it to Sturman. Do you practice the possibility that the ball will be fumbled, and do you yell out something like ball or pass or something so that that end or wingback knows to float out into the flat?
Yeah, we yell ball when the ball is a bad snap and wingback doesn't out. And I pick up the ball, try to throw it to him. Usually get blockers coming out trying to block for me.
Okay. Congratulations again. We'll let you go join the rest of the team on the bus.
Thank you.
And again, the plaque will be engraved for you. Get it next week. Okay.
Bye-bye.
Mr. Malika, here's Coach Versillo, and I'll let his former boss at Red Bank talk to the head coach of the Lions. So, Bob?
Over to cheers the victorious team here, and your fans, Lou, congratulations on a great victory. Offense moved in the first half, but you had a little difficulty putting points on the board.
Yeah, we did. We were a little flat today, but the kids did come through, and that's what we were looking for. Again, what you just mentioned a few minutes ago, a couple of things that hurt us, that fumble going in, the penalty and the interception, I think that hurt us in the first quarter, first half.
Notice the quarterback switch, and as soon as you switch quarterbacks, the play calling seemed to switch. Your runs and your passes were mixed pretty evenly. How come the switch, and how about the change in game calling?
Well, Peter Luciano was injured, and we didn't really want to play him all that much today, but when Alan went down with an injury, or at least an apparent injury, we made the switch immediately, and then we just kept Luciano in there. Peter's game calling is a little bit, we have a little bit more with him because he was our first team quarterback, although Alan did an admirable job and a great job, and we feel that we can go with either one.
All right, defensively, you really shut them down. They only had one drive, and you stopped that on the very last play of the first half and kept them from scoring. What about your defensive game plan with some of those kids out there today?
All right, the defense played very well. The drive that they did have, basically what happened, we overshifted to their unbalanced, and they went weak side on us quite a bit, and we had to make a halftime adjustment to stop that.
All right, what halftime adjustment did you make offensively that you suddenly were able to explode for 29 points in the second half?
Well, they did a lot of movement up front when we pulled our people, so we did a little bit different scheme, a little bit more offensive on blocking instead of trap blocking and things, and we started to open it up with a pass game to give our run game a little bit more room.
Now, one last thing I did want to talk about. A lot of people will look at that last conversion, see the bad snap, and saw you throw a pass and say you got 2 points and say you were lucky. But I remember from our days at Red Bank, that's not luck, is it, Coach?
No, we work hard on that.
Yeah, that's practice, and there's a hot call. I don't know if you're still using the same calls, but there's a hot call which tells the people in the line which way the snap is and which way to break. And sure enough, practice makes perfect, and the 2 points were the finishing touch on what was an outstanding game. What about next week?
Well, next week we play Pinelands, and it's a home game, and we're looking to continue to gain momentum and perfect our game plan, and not play flat like we did today the first period.
Well, congratulations again, Coach. I know your kids are sweated up. They're on a bus, and they want to get on that happy ride home. Ken?
Just got one question. What'd you think of Lubisher, the young quarterback for the Hawks?
I think he's an outstanding quarterback. I think he has a lot of potential, and he'll be a threat in the future.
Yeah, I thought he did pretty well for the fact that he's inexperienced and got a shot today. Okay, Coach, we'll let you go join your winning team. Congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, Lou Versillo, the head man of the Lacey Lions football program, and they get a big win, 32-0 over the Manchester Hawks. So it's a happy ride back to Forked River, and I'll be following